Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm editor of Reader's Digest magazine, and I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome you to the March issue of the magazine, because this is our 75th anniversary issue. Yes, we've been publishing in the UK for 75 years. Our first British issue appeared in March 1938. So to celebrate this, some of the magazine team have gone back through our archives and chosen their favourite bits.
Well, I've been here for more than a decade, and my favourite thing it's only a small thing, but my favourite thing that's been in the magazine was one of the first things I wrote in March 2002. And it was in a section I wrote called Facts of Life, and we used to sort of work out the answers to weird little imponderables like why do you never see baby pigeons. And one month I did, how does the life expectancy of a soap opera character compare with the real world? And much to my delight, I managed to get the figures of all the different scriptwriters. EastEnders characters lived to just 45, Emmerdale ones lived to 40, and in Brookside, the lost, lamented Liverpudlian sitcom, soap opera, they made it to just 24 because there were so many murders. And I was delighted with this fact, and no one had ever published it before, so that was really good. And then on that year's National TV Awards, Paul O'Grady read it out, so that was my moment of glory, which I've never matched since and probably never will match again.
Hello, I'm going to be reading from this, our 1953 edition of Reader's Digest, and it's called The Revolt of the Overdressed Male, and there's a lovely little illustration to start it off. Historically, the captive shirt tail is an invention of the Western world. We have not been able to impose it on older and wiser peoples like the Chinese, the Indians or the Arabs. But now the open-neck sports shirt is tail flying in the breeze. It's on its way towards liberating us overheated males. When Clark Gable took off his shirt and exposed a bare torso in It Happened One Night, he jolted the undershirt business. Thousands of timid men found the courage to squeak that if a big he-man like Clark Gable could brave the elements without an undershirt, why couldn't they?
One of the features I really liked in terms of recent articles we've done was from our April 2012 issue. It's called How to Build a Refugee Camp, and I think the reason I like this piece is because we all see footage on the news of humanitarian crises or war zones or natural disasters, and then you'll see shots on the news of refugee camps and people tending to them, but we often don't really know how we get from A to B, from the crises to the actual setting up of a refugee camp. And just talking about the various different logistical problems you have to overcome. There was this little sidebars about the refugee camp shopping list, things that you'll need, a breakdown of the world's largest refugee camp, the number of refugees it has to cater to, and all the water and the food that's needed. And also I thought what was very interesting about this feature, quite apart from the individual stories that you get and the quotes and some nice pictures and the layout, was that this was actually suggested to us by a tweet. This whole issue was known as the Twissue, which is a very catchy name, where basically people were suggesting to us ideas via Twitter. And this one came as a tweet from the British Red Cross, as you can see just at the top here. If anyone wants to tweet ideas to us, hashtag #RDTwissue or @RDigest, they can do so.
So one of my favourite stories from the archive is this one from Alex Haley, who wrote the book Roots. Alex Haley was originally a senior editor at Reader's Digest in America, and he started to write the story of his family and his search for his family for the magazine, but it was then turned into a book, which of course became hugely successful, and also a TV series, which I remember watching as a child. So to be able to read this story in our archives is a huge pleasure.
One of the features I've always really liked is I Remember, which we started about 4 or 5 years ago, where we ask someone in the public eye to reminisce about their childhood, about their career, about the people they've met while they've gone through their journey in life. And it's interesting because it often brings out things that they haven't kind of remembered in other interviews. It works better than a conventional interview very often. And I'd like to read a couple of bits. The first one from Ian Hunter. lead singer with Mott the Hoople. I remember joining Mott the Hoople. By 1969, I was beginning to wonder whether it would ever happen for me. I played in all sorts of bands, done odd jobs to make ends meet, but never seemed to get a break. Then I got asked to audition for a band who my mate described as a bit weird, and that was Mott the Hoople. After all the hippie rubbish, we decided we'd have a flashy stage show, and that coincided with the start of the whole glam rock thing in the early 70s. Some of the guys back then, David Bowie and Mark Bolan, could pull off the glitter, but we just looked like a bunch of bricklayers in drag.
So you can find out more about our 75th anniversary issue by reading this article, which is in our March issue, which is out now. We've got a fantastic interview with Sue Perkins. She's on the cover. Look out for it. It's full of great stuff. Hope you enjoy it.